Okay, so we're back. And in this video, I feel like I'm going to talk about your profile, which is the 3-5 energy. And I'm also going to talk about your profile as it relates to your emotional authority. And then I think that we should go into some examples of your specific gates and just like how someone coming into your energetic field with that gate might impact you. Keep in mind, right, that when somebody comes into your energetic field with the gate on the opposite side, that can also create definition in that center. And so the influence is going to be very, very interesting because now several things is at play. I mentioned in another video, it's very important for you to know what energy is yours and what isn't. I think when I think about reflectors, that's what I think about for them. It's like it's so important for them to realize like what is your energy and what isn't yours, so that you know when you're around someone whether or not, oh, I'm just hyper and enthusiastic because I'm in their energy field, right? Like, oh, I want to say yes to this because I'm in their energy field. Because sometimes people commit to things, especially with this this undefined heart center. Sometimes people commit to things because they're in someone's energetic field and they have that energy, right? They get that momentum, right? And they think that they can do, not think that, but they feel like they can do all these things, and then they kind of leave that person's energetic field, and now they no longer have that motor or that energy or that inspiration to follow through with their commitment. And so especially with this emotional authority, this is even more of a reason for you not to be making decisions in the moment, especially when you are in people energetic field. And so with this 3-5 profile, that means that you're going to learn through trial and error and share practical solutions. That 3 energy is very much that trial and error. You live and learn through experience, okay? And then that practical solution, you take what you learn from your experiences and everything else, and you make it more universal so that the collective can learn from it, the collective can benefit from it. There's a lot of energy with that 5, so I definitely recommend you look up the 5, because the 5 energy also has this thing in it. And remember, I feel like all these energies do something to your aura, right? And so even when you don't know why somebody is looking to you for answers, why somebody expects you to solve a problem, it's because it's in your energy field, and people can pick it up even if they don't know why. But the thing about that 5 energy is that you may be able to do all these things, you may have solutions and answers, but the thing is, if you don't rise to the occasion the way people believe you should, you also become the person that they start looking down on and they start like projecting on. So I definitely recommend you look more into that, just to make sure you understand how that energy works, so that you know when like people are projecting, or you understand when like people are having an expectation of you because of their own thing and not because of something you said or something you committed to or anything like that. So with these hanging gates, they're gonna add to your curiosity of that line 3. They make you notice what's missing and want to experiment with feeling it. So basically with this energy, it's like you'll just notice things, right? You'll notice like, what else can be done differently, right? And then you go out into the world and see like, will this work, right? Because remember, you're here to give those practical solutions. And so in order for you to find those practical solutions, you're going to experiment to see what works, what doesn't, from your own living experience. And so yeah, and those hanging gates will add to that curiosity. Hanging gates is so interesting because I feel like too, especially with all your openness with these inside your centers. So with my openness, I feel like I'm a 1-3, so I'm also going to speak from not only research but also my own experience. But with my openness, right, I kind of feel like I get to taste different energies. So I feel like I'm everything and nothing at all. I also have like this open, I also have an undefined G center, right? So I never feel like I'm just one thing. I feel like I'm many things, and I get to experience many things. And I also have a completely open emotional solar plexus. And so I kind of like feel like I know a lot of things and I get to experience a lot of things, even if it's just temporary. But like I understand people on a very like other kind of level, because like I'm not just one thing, and I acknowledge that I'm not just one thing, and nobody is just one thing. But there's something about, I have awareness of that, and I feel like with your openness, you too can have an awareness of so much about the lived experience, because you're not so structured, you're not so defined, you're not so consistent. That's what it is. You're not so consistent with an energy, right? Like somebody with their defined ajna, right? Like you probably have a certain way that you process information, but somebody with an undefined ajna might not have that, right? So they can be processing information a lot of different ways, and therefore when they meet people, you know, who also have that kind of openness and also like or someone with a defined ajna but like have their own way of processing, that person with that undefined ajna may understand that person on another level, as opposed to someone with a defined ajna, right? Like a lot of times I don't fully understand people mind processing. Like I'm like, what? Like how did you get there? But that's because I have a very like consistent way of how information processes through me. Yeah, and so it's very interesting. Your openness, anybody openness, it's going to allow you the opportunity to taste. It's going to allow you the opportunity to experience other ways of being, especially when it deals with the different themes of the center. I just feel like you get to taste so much of life. You get to experience so much more of life, because with that openness, you're amplifying other people's energy. And even with this, say for like you have a defined emotional solar plexus, but with somebody with a undefined emotional solar plex, like they tend to feel other people's energy even like louder. Like I remember I saw a friend, they was like across the street, and like I just felt so sad the moment I saw them, and I was just like, ah. And so like when I went to talk to them or whatever, it was clear like they were holding on a lot of emotional stuff and they started crying and stuff, right? But that's just an example of like how that energy works. Like you kind of amplify other people's energy, even like, right, you may feel like this confidence, right, this with that will center, this ability to do all these things when you're around certain people, but you're like basically amplifying their energy and taking it on as your own, but it's not yours. You're borrowing it for that moment. And so like it's super important to be just mindful of like, what is your norm, knowing what your norm is, and then knowing, so when you get in other people's energy field, you know, oh, this is me, this is not me. Or when, say for instance, you get into my energy field and all of a sudden you feel like you're not confident, all of a sudden you start feeling super insecure and all of that, like are you amplifying somebody else's energy? Is that actually yours to be holding on to? So this is the kind of stuff to be being mindful of with your openness. And so the other thing I was going to say is about the emotional authority, right? So your clarity is going to come over time. You have 2 different channels, right? So the waves will be different. You can play with that, figure it out, experiment. So, but the whole message is like, don't make big moves in the heat of the moment, especially when when you're in a connection with someone's energy and it feels electric. Do not get caught up in that tense emotion or that tense energy. You know it's you, know your norm, understand your energetic field when no one's in it, so that when you are in spaces and places, you know that you're being amplified, you know you're being influenced, so you can kind of sit with yourself and just figure out how you want to move from there. But that's when you become that wise observer in your experience, you know? So let's come back and talk about some gates, and then we'll be done. But I think I hope I answered your questions, and if you have more questions, as always, feel free to add it to any of the videos, and I will come through, either do another video or just answer in the comments.